Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching Choice 2017 here on KTN News. Let's switch gears to a gubernatorial contest that will be of interest to many Kenyans. It will be one of the most interesting. There are a couple of these that we'll be focusing on in the run-up to the 2017 August 8th general election. And one of them is the county of Embu, the gubernatorial race here. And with us in studio tonight is one of those men who will be battling it out. Men and women, I have to say, will be battling it out to become the next governor of the county of Embu, and that is the current Senator Lenny Kivuti. Thank you, sir, for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Well,
you are a sitting senator. Why did you decide to run for governor in 2017?
Well, everybody wants me to do that.
All right.
And I believe I have an agenda for Embu County. And that agenda needs to be addressed. And that agenda is focused on what the people of Embu County need.
And what is your agenda for Embu County?
You want the summary or the long
summary,
version?
Obviously not your manifesto, the whole of it here, but what do you think the people of Embu need that you can provide?
You know, everybody talks about development. But the question of what kind of development they think about is not what is common. My idea of development is not just going to build a dispensary and stuff like that. I think the future, I think of transformation. What I would like to do in my county is what some of the things I felt I should have done even when I was MP. Even when I was going for Senate, I thought maybe there would be a chance to do transformative changes within the county. That transformation, I must do it and do it big.
Many critics of the Senate and other leaders have been saying that senators, the reason we're seeing many of them wanting to become governor in 2017 is because, you know, as senators, they don't control any resources, and there's a lot of resources to be controlled at the county level. That is the biggest reason. What do you say to this?
I don't think you're right. For example, I don't look at life just in terms of money. I'm not looking for money, not at all.
Right.
But the way resources are managed, the outcome of what you do, what you get out of that resource, and even not only the resource, the meager resource that you get from the national government. You know, we are now in a devolved system of governance.
Right.
And a lot of people need to know that you don't have to wait for national government to give you your share of the county money. And then you say that's all there is. And what has been happening, most of the governors, they get that share. They spend maybe 70% of it on recurrent expenditure. And then the remaining 30 or 20, some of them have done as little as 5%, goes to development. And then they tell people, this is what we have developed.
All right.
I am out of that kind of school.
Do you think the current governors, who are obviously the first set of governors, maybe had the disadvantage of being the first ones, experimental, and the offices were not set up? Would you cut them some slack or not?
Come out of it. I don't believe in being experimental. All the governors that were elected, none of them is a baby.
Right.
They are all mature people, some of them experienced administrators, but maybe the idea of transformation is not in them.
Right.
We are going to still experience a lot of governors who will be elected and they will do business as usual. I can tell you, mine shall not be business as usual.
If you're elected governor of Embu on the 8th of August 2017, how would you deal with the problem that has bedeviled a lot of the 47 current governors we have, the issue of balancing between the budget you have for development and the budget that you have for recurrent expenditure?
Well, I can only tell you that by way of example. There are many leaders around the world, even around East Africa, who have managed to change, to make change in their governance. I don't want to tell you at this particular moment all the things that I would do. But as you well know, I am in a party called Maendeleo Chap Chap.
Yes.
One of the aspects is how long do you wait for development to come? We can talk about development that takes 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. What I may tell you, in my mind, I've always adopted something which is common even here in Kenya, something like we call the 90-day cycle development approach. What do you call it?
Right.
Yeah. It is possible.
Your first 100 days of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is possible to actually cause sensible development even from the budget that counties receive from the national government. But I don't believe it is enough. Why it is not enough, I will only give you by way of example. If we want to change Kenya to be equitable to the first world, it means it is not just building dispensaries or building 10 kilometers of road that we can be able to show and say we have done development.
Right.
I'm thinking a situation whereby if I wake up, if somebody, my dad woke up 10 years from now, he should find Embu County looking like Europe, whereby you are not just looking at one aspect of development. We are not just looking at salary of the recurrent, because you asked me about recurrent and development. We should look at it in a bigger picture, whereby what is it we need to change in the thinking of the people being governed, in the whole system, whereby that change is not just personal. It's not about land equity. It's about the entirety of the governance of the county.
All right.
I would like to see a situation whereby everybody in Kenya thinks they would like to come and live in Embu.
In Embu County. All right. You did speak about Wiper. You were elected. Not Wiper, sorry. Maendeleo.
I talked about Maendeleo Chap-Chap.
Maendeleo Chap-Chap. Yeah. You were elected on an APK ticket in 2013.
Yes.
Why did you move to Maendeleo Chap-Chap?
Because sababu APK yangu ilimezwa. My APK party was dissolved through some arrangement which was there. And through that arrangement, maybe things were not coming out very well. Mm-hmm. And so, as we all know, I still support my president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, together with William Ruto. So Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is being supported by Maendeleo Chap-Chap.
Right.
And at the same time, we have an ideology of Chap-Chap development, very fast development.
All right.
You know.
Do you think it was a mistake for your party and others to fold up and merge?
Let me tell you, mistakes or no mistake, life must continue.
All right.
You know, crying over spilled milk, you know. I don't believe parties is what makes development. Parties is not what makes good leaders. And good leader can come from any party. That's my belief.
All right.
Yeah.
You will be facing an incumbent, the current governor, Martin Wambora. How difficult do you think it is going to be to unseat him?
I think I'll come again to what I told you earlier. Mm-hmm. My agenda is not to unseat Wambora.
All right.
My agenda is to lead Embu County.
But
those are two different things.
First.
You know,
for
me to lead Embu County, somebody must be not on the seat. Mm-hmm. Whoever that is, whether it becomes Martin or anybody else who may be on the way, because we shall be not only two candidates. Mm-hmm. I believe there will be more than two. But the choice of the people of Embu is what will prevail. And I have no doubt, this time around, people are looking at what is it the leader is going to offer, more than all those other tenets of how you look and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah.
But those tenets are something that we as journalists have to try and analyze for our viewers, your people. And another thing of those is there has been a proposal by the Embu Council of Elders to have some kind of negotiated democracy and sharing out of the positions following some MOU that apparently was in 2012. What's your take on this?
Have you ever seen that MOU?
Nobody has ever seen it.
Has anybody ever seen it? Fortunately, I did not just jump into the foray of going to be governor. Mm-hmm. The first group that came to seek me to go in was a council of governors from Embu called Nyangi Diereri. They were followed, when they called me, a whole group, they are like 1,500 and something. They were followed by another group from Bere called Gome Elders, Gome Council of Elders. There were about 3,000. And they all agreed, they said, both sides of the elders of Embu County, they wanted me to run for governor. I did not announce my gubernatorial aspiration until that happened. After that, I had to go to other leadership groups, education, many other, churches and every other group. Yeah.
But was there an MOU in 2012?
Not that I know of.
Governor come from
Not that I know of, but I am sure there is usually what you call the conceptual understanding of brothers. The conceptual understanding of brothers is to say, if one brother gets one part of the cake, the other brother should get the other part of cake. And this is not something that you need to write. That's why it was not written. Even right now, we would have expected, even when the elders met me, they were telling me, okay, last time we had the Embu side getting the gubernatorial. This time we want the Bere side to get. And we hope we also get a senatorial candidature from the Embu side, so that both sides of the bigger sub-tribes of Embu County have a share. But that is not to say that they specifically wrote an MOU.
All right.
But personally, I think it's a good gesture when elders sit and say, okay, let's have the cake being shared by both sides of the county.
What do you think would be the solution to unifying both sides of the county, the Bere side and the side of Embu? As governor, what would be your dream?
Can I tell you the truth? Embu County is not only for Embu and Bere. Embu County, we have all tribes of Kenya. That's a fact.
True.
Actually, we have Indians, we have a lot of Kambas, a lot of Kikuyus, a lot of Darakas, even we have Luos there, who have lived there for long, for many, many years, more than I've been alive. We have Merus. It's actually a very cosmopolitan society. It's only that from, in the older days, from the beginning, there's what you call the dominant tribes. It may be a bit interesting for you to know. Out of the 42 tribes of Kenya, 2 of them live in Embu County. Apparently, Embu County is so small in terms of comparative sizes if you compare it with other counties in Kenya. It would be foolish for anybody to start thinking of tribe, because that would mean you chop already a small society. It will not make sense. On the development agenda, if you want to develop a society, the bigger it is, the better. So, in my mind, I don't see Bere and Embu. I don't see Kambas and Kikuyus and Indians in Embu. I see a society which cannot become rich, which cannot be happy. As you know, the other day I was reading, I don't know if it was from your side of domain, that countries' development is measured by level of happiness. I would like to see the level of happiness of Embu County being raised so high that everybody in Kenya wants to come there.
All right.
And then we'll discuss how and whether, how, when to allow them.
Speaking of happiness, let me speak about, I'm being the devil's advocate, the other side of it. What are the unique challenges that you think the county of Embu faces?
They are not actually unique. They are common. The challenges of Embu are mainly the challenges of Kenya. It's a question of who can be able to handle those challenges faster in terms of governance. For example, we are right now running into drought, a lot of it. Can you imagine if we had water everywhere in Embu County? Not just water to drink, but water also for irrigation. What a county would we have? in terms of food security, in terms of health, in terms of so many other things. And some of these things are not so difficult to attain because we are next to Mount Kenya.
Right.
A lot of rivers come from there, but they all end up in Indian Ocean. There are so many things we can think of how to make a county, like Embu or any other county, become a happy county. But not everybody knows how to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
As we wind up, a lot of women have stepped up in this year to be elected as governor. We don't have a female governor out of the 47, and one of them will be your opponent on the 8th of August. What's your take on this assault by women to try and be elected governor?
I don't see it as an assault. It's a trial. You know, life has to keep on changing. If you remember, this story about women, you know, wanting to be equal to men is nothing new. And if anything, the world over, we have encouraged, you know, women to take up positions. But one of the challenges we've been having in Kenya, particularly in our constitution, is how to get the 30%, one-third gender rule. Nobody says no to it. But it's a question of who do you give? Okay, we have already given nomination, like you go to Senate, one-third is already attained because we nominate 20 women. In most counties, even like in Embu, when we elect 20 MCAs, we nominate 10 others who are ladies. Then we attain the one-third gender rule. But now, for governors, it's a bit trickier because we cannot nominate governors. Because if you nominate them, which county will they govern? They have to be competitive. Now, you have seen women becoming competitive, not only this time, even before, even in parliament. So I don't see anything wrong with them taking up the mantle, trying to be competitive, but it will not be like, because you are a woman, take it.
All right. My final question to you very quickly. As you campaign for the elections and you don't have nominations to face, what would you say is the reason why people of Embu should vote for you as governor?
You can even ask them, they know. Because my agenda is not to go and squander their money or benefit from their money. I'm not looking for money. Number two, I already have a record of the kind of development I do. When I was MP, I can count several of the things I did very quickly, like we started by bringing everybody together. The first strategic plan for a constituency was done by me. After that, within 2 years, in education, which was our first priority, Siakago constituency moved from number 26 in Eastern Province to number 1.
So
and we remained number 1 until as long as I was MP. I can count several things. We went beyond 100% of what our targets were, including water, including education, including administration, including so many things.
Thank you so
now,
much. Now,
so many of the people around Embu, they already know that. So, I don't want to say other people don't have ideas, but I believe I have good ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And all the best. In that race, we shall be having very special focus on it. That is the focus on the battle for Embu. We shall be focusing on it here on KTN News a lot. Will be very interesting. We have been talking to Lenny Kivudi, the senator of Embu, will be on the ticket to become the next governor of the county of Embu. When we return after this quick commercial break, we talk about my aspirant, my leader. What is that about? We'll tell you what it means to you as a voter. Don't go too far.